Alright guys, look at the sunny day it is, and what a great day to do our regular trip to the comic store. Actually, that's a lie. It's not regular, it's actually irregular. But today we're actually going to the store. It's been a while. I know. I can't wait. The store is usually the fun place to go. I like calling it the store and not telling you what the actual location is because they don't pay me to go to the store. But I'm about to go in, get some Nightwing and Age of Ultron and Nova. Oh my gosh, it's been so long that I've done one of these driving the cars that I almost forgot to turn the car camera on. Sorry about that, guys. So we're almost back to my school, which, yeah, I almost forgot to turn you guys on, but you know. Luckily I remembered. Nice sun glare. Shout out to the sun for actually finally coming out. But, yeah, finally we got one of these trips to the store. I'm very happy about that. Finally got to go to the regular store and buy comics in the store and have actual comics to review. We're not going to be one of those. Last week's was a graphic novel. The week before that we went to the other store. And prior to that, I didn't do Comic Book Wednesdays for 2 weeks. I just had to take a break. Luckily, I picked up all those issues I need to pick up for that week. And I need to rethink my schedule because I need to pick 3 or 2 issues a week that I'm gonna need to read and review. You guys fell, huh? But I need to do that. It's basically what I gotta do. I mean, I gotta think of what 3 issues do I really want and are gonna be the best. I mean, if you checked a couple of my first ones I ever did, I had like 7 comics in one issue. I'm gonna park and then I'll come back to you with the comics. Okay, we're back, we're parked, and sorry about the flare, but can't do anything about that. So, let's go least to greatest. I think it's hard to decide what the least book is this week. You know, actually, yeah, I know what the least book is. It's probably the one that's $3. But, yeah, which is sad because it's one of my favorite series going on, but, you know, really don't care what's going on. But, Nightwing number 19, continuing on after all this, Damian Wayne has died and stuff. Nightwing is still feeling depressed probably, but it's April and DC decided let's do this weird thing with our covers. It's like a fold out, like, weird cover. So, interesting. It's like, oh, ha 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 ha. But it says right there, why so serious, Nightwing? Oh, I wonder who it could be. Oh, who is this? Enter the prankster. Were you expecting someone else? That's very interesting what they're gonna be doing that on us, adding a new character into this whole thing. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Nightwing, but I'm not sure if the prankster is already an existing character. I'm thinking no, but at the same time, yes. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna have to look that up before I film the second part of this. But next, we have Nova number 3. I thought the second issue of Nova was great. We finally got to see Nova in action. We got to see him finally in the Nova suit. And I'm expecting more, especially since the Guardians of the Galaxy are a big tie-in with this. However, I have not read Guardians of the Galaxy yet. I know, I am the biggest idiot yet. I thought Point 1 was one of the best issues I've read in a while. However, I still haven't picked up number 1 with Iron Man in it. I know, it's weird, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to get around to it sometime in the near future. Specifically because next week number 2 comes out, and I probably am going to pick it up along with 2. I'll talk to you after I'm done looking at these comics about what's going to come up next week as well, because there's something going to be weird about next week. Finally, we have Age of Ultron number 6. I read 5, and I'm very not happy with it. Honestly, I'm ready for the series to end. It's just filler content that they kept showing. But now they're finally going back in time, and I guess Wolverine's gonna follow them now, but he wants to go kill Hank Pym. I can't say you blame him, because he thinks that this will end Ultron, but Ultron was based off a lot of guys' ideas, not just Hank Pym's. Sorry to tell him. Sorry to tell you, Wolverine. But I'm very looking forward to see what they're going to do, what they're going to incorporate with the future and past motives. I'm still wondering what universe this is in. It's, of course, in an Age of Ultron universe, but what realm of the Marvel universe is this in? Because it's supposed to take place, like, right in our time right now, but, like, is it, like, in a different dimension, parallel universe, like Injustice was? Speaking of which, Injustice. Anyway, so, that is all the comics for this week. Now, like I said, next week is very open, because I am actually not... I'm not going to be at school. I have a play that I'm doing. I know, I'm acting. What can I say? I'm an actor and stuff. And, so, I actually have to do a 10 o'clock in the morning performance. So, and I still have to perform later that day, too, for the public performance. This is just for a field trip show. I have no idea how I'm going to be able to get the next issue to you of Comic Book Wednesdays. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to wait till... because I'm going to be busy Thursday as well. But Friday I'm free. So I'm thinking either I can get... if I can figure out a way to get time to squeeze into if I can find a closer comic book store to the theater that I'm going to, I can do it then, but the episode's probably going to come out on Thursday, so I'm just warning you guys ahead of time, too. So, just be prepared. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'll remind you during this video later, probably, in the next part. So, after we got that out of the way, so... now, I'm going to read these, and we're going to switch back to my house, and we're going to get these done and reviewed. Alright, time for reviews. Alright, so I've been thinking a while about these ones, and for some reason, I couldn't get my number 2 and number 3 spots all figured out. I could get number 1 figured out, it's pretty simple, but 2 and 3, they're good, and they're bad in the same way. I couldn't really get the same opinion off of them, so let's start off with Nightwing, number 19. This deals with Nightwing going to Chicago. He gets out of Gotham City because, you know, everything's happened over in Gotham with Damian and the whole death in the family. So he goes over to he goes over to Chicago. He wants to go find Tony Zuko because Tony Zuko murdered his parents, and he thought, oh yeah, we got revenge on him, and they thought he died. Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, he's somehow still alive. So, Nightwing is going over and trying to find Tony Zuko. And unfortunately, the police aren't happy with that, so they're going after him because, you know, they don't know who Nightwing is. They change artists. This time it's Brett Booth, and I actually like the artwork better in here than I do in the previous couple of issues. I don't know, it looks smoother, and I like it. I just like it. But I definitely like this issue because it develops more into what Nightwing is going through with everything in his life. You know, because he's had a lot to go through his whole life. I think no person like Nightwing should have to go through it. Oh, and the whole thing with the prankster, you know, flip over the cover. Oh, look, it's the prankster. Ho ho ho. Yeah, the whole thing about that, you don't see the prankster till the very end. That's not really a spoiler because, well, actually kind of is, so whatever. But I'm just saying that they advertise in the front cover, oh yeah, the prankster. They talk about the prankster a little bit, but there is like no actual prankster in the book until the very end. Next, we have Nova number 3. Now where we left off, Sam Alexander, he got the Nova helmet from his father, who has disappeared, and he put it on, and he flew all the way to the moon, and he's right in front of the Watcher. That's where we left off last time. Now he's talking to the Watcher, you know, trying to get all this debacle. He's gonna go figure out what's going on, and
he has a very funny conversation with the Watcher. I have to admit, it's very funny. And then, of course, Gamora and Rocket Raccoon start training Sam Alexander to fight better because, of course, you just got this. We need your help. They literally start asking for his help. And they finally send him on a big mission, which is going to lead into the next issue, which will be funny. This is the big thing about this comic. It is hilarious. And the dialogue is excellent, and the characters are excellent. It's just a great book. But for some reason, the humor is the best thing in this book. I don't know why. Jeff Loeb, he's not really a comedic writer, if you know from like his previous work stuff. He's not really the biggest comedic writer. But for some reason, this is just hilarious. Not in a bad way, but in an excellent way. Like, the humor in this book works. I think it's probably because of Rocket Raccoon and Gamora. That's all I'm going to say, but I don't know. It works. This is a very good comic. And finally, we have the Age of Ultron number 6, where we left off. A group of heroes, led by Captain America and Nick Fury, go into the future, and Wolverine decides, I'm going to go into the past and go kill Hank Pym. Turns out that Sue Storm followed him into the past. She was supposed to go into the future with Cap, but unfortunately she followed Wolverine into the past. And you don't really get much of the future because it's mostly about Wolverine and Sue trying to find Hank Pym. And there's a funny joke with Wolverine and Nick Fury in here when they're in the past, how they get to Hank Pym. It's kind of funny. Well, for me it was funny, but really, the future, there was no reason really to show the future except to show the fact that they were there. And they show this on the cover of how they're getting attacked by Ultron heads. You never see a fight. Never. There has not been, I have not seen a fight with Ultron so far in this book. In these books, actually. So far, not really any fights with Ultron, which has been very disappointing. But the lay it up to the end. Let's just say this: Wolverine finds Hank Pym with Sue, and things happen. 2 weeks when I get the next issue, I'll be able to spoil it because I actually want people to read this. Because it's an okay book. It's better than 5. 5 was probably the worst of the issues. 2 was probably the second worst, and then 4. So I probably think this is the third best. But everything's about to change. I'm going to tell you that right now. Everything's about to change after this book for the Book of Ultron. Book of Ultron. Age of Ultron. Everything's about to change. So with that said, we finally got what we're going down to. 1, 2, and 3. So, as you could probably tell, my number 1 is Nova. Yes, I recommend picking up Nova number 3 this week. It is the one issue that you need now. Not really now, but like, I don't know. I was going to stop picking up Nova after Nova number 1, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm going to continue this. Nova is the series to pick up right now from Marvel. Number 2 spot, I have to give it to Nightwing, actually. I think that the Nightwing series is definitely going in the right direction. Of course, Kyle Higgins, his writing is superb for Nightwing right now. If they had Scott Snyder, it'd be great, but of course Scott Snyder's got to work on Batman. And of course he's going to be working on Superman Unchained, which is going to... Whoa! I don't think anyone cannot wait for that. I can't, I'll tell you that for sure, but I think that this book is getting Nightwing into the right direction of where he needs to go next. After he finds Tony Zuko, we'll see what happens after that. And of course, number 3 was Book of Ultron, number 6. I said it again! Book of Ultron, it's Age of Ultron. But we need to pick up the pace with Ultron. Brian Michael Bendis, you are a great writer. I'm going to tell you that right now. But for some reason, you're just not writing good for this. Are we supposed to expect that 7, 8, 9, and 10 are the best issues ever? The last 4 issues, are we just supposed to expect that this is gonna just turn out excellent? Because so far, it's been doing a piss poor job. I was very excited for this series, and 1 I thought was great. It's probably the best issue in the whole series. 2 was lackluster. 3 was 3 picked up the pace and needed to go back to where it was. 4 was okay. 5 was horrible. I did not like 5 whatsoever because it was just filler content. And this was just okay again. It was better than 4, but again, it needs to pick up the pace. I feel that this dramatic conclusion to it is not going to happen whatsoever. But with that said, let's just go into what's coming up next week. Next week we have 2, I'm going to say, there's nothing really coming out next week. Really, we have Injustice Gods Among Us number 4, which, of course, the game just came out yesterday. And yeah, the game is just awesome. It's going to be number 4, where basically what happened in 3 is basically I like that the comic book is explaining other aspects of the game, because in the game you question the beginning a little bit, and then you get, like, immediately after you understand what's going on. Like, it's excellent. And we also have Guardians of the Galaxy number 2. Of course, I still gotta pick up issue number 1, which I'm probably, if the store has it next week, if the store I'm going to next week, depending on what store I'm going to, has it next week, we're going to be getting that one. But, again, I'm not sure what store we're going to, and I'm not sure if they're going to have it. And at the same time, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it. If I can't find Guardians of the Galaxy number 1, I'm just not going to pick up anything else except for Injustice. And I may not do an episode. If I do not find it, I may just not even do the episode next week, because it's just going to be talking about one comic. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people want to listen to just one comic. Yeah, I know. I'm doing kind of a weird thing here, but I can't help it. At the same time, I don't want to keep you bored. Actually, you know what? Leave in the comments below, what comic should I pick up next week from Marvel and or DC that isn't Injustice or Guardians of the Galaxy? And I like to go indie, actually. Leave, like, some info in the comments. I might pick up Sex, the new comic. I can't remember if it's from Image or not, but I might want to pick it up because I hear very good things about it. And I might want to pick up a Saga issue as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but again, leave it in the comments below if you want to see me pick up something different. Of course, don't leave me like 7,000 things. Like, leave me like a gist of like what would be your number 1 option. I might pick up a story that I'm not really like into. I might pick up a story that I'm really into and just don't know it. I might pick up a comic that, you know, is from a couple weeks ago. I might try to go find Batman Incorporated number 8, where, you know, Damian died. I might want to find that, but I don't know if I will or not. So, that's the end of this Comic Book Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Again, go out, pick Nova up, pick Nightwing up, maybe pick up Age of Ultron. And I'll be waiting 2 weeks to see if it's better or not, because Brian Michael Bendis, you better have something good for us in 2 weeks. So, ended this. I'll check you out next week, and thank you for watching. Definitely. And there are kids screaming outside because it's so happy, it's so sunny, and I'm inside reviewing comic books. Oh. But yeah,